Deepa, you there?
Yeah, I'm there, Swati. Yes, Swati, I'm here.
All right. All right. Good afternoon, everyone. We have this is Deepa Rafiq today. She is going to take us through this uh, very interesting topic, though it is very useful as well. And I have kept luckily this topic on the Mother's Day. So, a POCSO, you can see the full form, the protection of children from sexual offences, is very important topic for all of us. Either we are practicing, in the sense, either we are training on this subject or not, but the information is very important for all of us. So, before we start with this topic, let me just introduce Deepa. So, Deepa Rafiq, she is a lawyer and a corporate trainer having a 33 years of long experience. So now we have a very experienced person today, and I'm sure the FOXO, this topic in detail, we are going to learn from her. She has a law firm called V Legal. You must have heard there are many trainings of posh trainings which is happening pan India through V Legal, and it is based out of Bangalore. And she do provide trainings on legal topics to corporate and educational institutions, and also have a signature program on TTT Posh and TTT FOXO. So that's a brief about Deepa, her journey, and I'm sure Deepa can take us through about little more if she wants to inform us about her, and then we can move on to the topic. So it's to you, Deepa, now.
Thank you, Dr. Swati. Good afternoon to each one of you over there. And a big thank you to Dr. Swati, Trainers Club, and ILDS for bringing me to this platform and interact with you all and sharing my views, whatever I have little experience with me on the subject. And a very important day to choose the topic. Protection of children from sexual offenses on Mother's Day. So very happy Mother's Day to you all. I'm, as Dr. Swati said, I'm a lawyer and a trainer. So let me see to what extent I'm able to share my things with you. I'll try and share my experience, my briefing, how I dealt with the things and how we felt and what the law is. Because going straight away to law may not help us to understand everything, because most of you are not from a legal background, and actually for protection of children from any type of offenses, I don't think we need to really know the law in detail. If you know a little bit of it, you have an idea, still we can manage the things. Dr. Swati, can I share my screen over there?
I'm sure.
Yeah. Okay. So let's talk about basic awareness on protection of children from sexual offenses. I'm not going in detail of law because that's too technical a subject, and we don't have that much time or the thought process right now to undergo the all technicalities of the subject. But I'll be happy to share a basic thoughts and the awareness which we all need, and we have to be aware of. We all, whether you are trainer, whether you are a parent, whether you are a teacher, whoever you are, we all are society, and we all are surrounded with children at home and outside. Who is child? Now I'll take a break in between for discussion. In between, if you have any questions, just put your questions on chat. So and when I ask the question, I'm open for answers from you all. So when we talk about children, the first thing is, who is child? So the basic general definition of child is anyone below the age of 18 years. The person who has not yet attained the age of 18 is called child. Sorry. irrespective of gender. Now, child, when we talk about child, there is no question of any gender. A male child, a female child, or a transsexual child, all are children if they have not attained the age of 18 years. Now, what happens most of the time, we have one thought that children they are too small, they don't understand the things, and child don't have any right also. So first, let's clear our doubts on the subject that it's not like that. We all have a right, and children especially, they have a right from the children born, not rather born, the time the child is conceived, they came through a right. They got a right as per law. So if we have that thought that children don't have any rights, only we have rights, 100% wrong. The day child is conceived, the child gets certain rights as per the constitution of our country. So each and every child have certain rights. To carry out those rights, because obviously children will take some time to grow up and to understand the good and bad, what is happening around them, to come across with all those things, to understand, the child need the support from all of us. They can't execute their rights, though they have, but either they are not aware of, or they are not able to execute their rights because they are too small. But that doesn't mean they don't have a right. They have rights. So in our country, there are several laws which are specially made only for children. Now, I'm not going to talk about all the laws which are for all children, but I'll just give a little brief of the subject. There are so many laws, as you can see on the screen. These are specifically only for children. We have laws specifically only for children. We don't need common laws are separate. These are the laws, special laws only for children in our country. Now, we will not talk about all the laws. We will talk about basically to concentrate on Protection of Children from Sexual Offences Act 2012. And obviously the Constitution is there anyway. Constitution is the basic law which gives each and every citizen a right to live in this country along with certain fundamental rights. Why do we have to talk about child safety and security? Okay, tell me one thing. Recently, just 3-4 days back, we have heard one case from Delhi, the boys' locker room case. I hope you all must have heard about it. What do you think in this case, as a parent, as a teacher, to what extent we are responsible for this incident? Please come up with your views. You can unmute yourself and talk to me.
You can raise your hand and unmute.
One by one, unmute and just give me your views short. To what extent the parents and teachers are responsible for this case, according to you?
Please unmute one by one, otherwise there will be so much of noise.
This is Atul Sharma. I feel we are responsible because A, we are not being the right role models, and second, we are not trying to understand what's going around with the children these days because there's so much of bombardment of information.
Good. Anyone else?
Ma'am, repeat the question, please.
You must have heard about this boys' locker room case in Delhi happened in this last week. According to you, to what extent the parents and the teachers are responsible for such incident?
I haven't heard about the incident.
You have not heard about?
Yeah.
Okay, no problem. We'll discuss it. Not an issue. Anyone else? No? Okay. Let me make the things little clear. In last week, there was an incident reported that a few children from a very high class society, so-called, and a very top school of Delhi, they have found having one Instagram account with the name of Boys Locker Room, and the student below the age of 18, most of them were operating in that Instagram discussing several sexual activities, having some nude photos of girls, and even referring some of their girl classmates. So this incident was came out on the instance of one girl. She reported about it, and I'm not going into who is not on that because still we don't have all the details available. I'm just wanted to discuss you when such incident happens. So many talks comes out. Everyone has its own view and opinion. Why I want to discuss it here is because we are talking about the children's safety and security, and children means below 18 years. And in this case, 99% except 3-4 children, all are less than 18 years. That means they are children. Why they tend to do such things? Parents are not aware of what is happening with their children. What
Deepa,
is my view on that? Yeah.
Deepa, I'm so sorry interrupting in between. I think we are losing you in between because of network issues. So if you just switch off the video, I think the audio will help you to manage the unstable network.
Okay.
Yeah.
Okay. So when we talk about child safety and security, there we need to understand what role we have to play as a parent, as a teacher, or as a trainer when you are going and talking to either children in school, or you are teaching or you are giving training to teachers in the school. All these are important factors, even to look into this present case. Why parents were not aware of what the children are doing, why the teachers were not aware of. To me, there was little connectivity gap between all of them. Either children, they are not able to share, because at that age, maybe between 14 to 18, they are very curious, and now too much open for everything. Internet is there, everything is being exposed, so children have a lot of curiosity. And suppose they come to us and talk about the subject, most of the time, looking into our social culture, we don't allow our children to talk on the word sex or sexuality or anything related to sex. We will immediately say, no, 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 it's not for you. Why? You are a small children. Let you grow up, then you will be able to understand. There we are committing a biggest mistake. Be open to your child. Then only we will be able to at least minimize such type of incidents. So that is why we need to talk, because such incident should not happen in the society, because such incident happened at this age will have lot of impact on a child when the child grows up. So better we have to talk about the child safety and security, because we want them to grow up as a good human being. They are the future of our society. They have to lead the society tomorrow. So if they themselves are not good and secure and safe, they will not grow up with the secure thoughts, and that will have full impact on overall society tomorrow. So that is why we need to talk about child safety and security. The first important aspect on this is we need to connect with our children, which most of us do lack. Especially the people who say that they are too busy, or maybe looking into this particular incident where the people it was at the time actually was trying to be compensated by money. So time cannot be and never can be replaced with money. First important thing is we have to communicate with our children. Our communication should never stop, never should be broken, because whenever we are talking, let your child have that much confidence with you that the child can come to you and talk to you about anything. We have to create that trust and confidence with the children. If we have that, we can avoid any such incidents happening in the society, or at least with our child or the friends. Communication can be on all type: verbal, non-verbal communication, touch, every type of communication. But we should continue communication. That means we have to take out some time with our children. Now, as a parent or maybe as a teacher, many times we have heard the child says that so and so teacher is very good in my school and so and so teacher is bad. How child judge the teacher, good and bad teacher? Because child is comfortable sharing the things with a particular teacher, that teacher is good. We all are very good, we all are very bad. Nobody is perfect. Everybody has a different thought, different way of expressing themselves. So no good or no bad teacher or good or bad parent is there. Everyone is good in there, and no one wants something bad happening or thinking anything bad for any child. Not my child, not any child. But the only thing is how we take up the particular situation, handle the particular situation, that creates whole issue. So my first view is we should never stop communicating with our children. Our children, in whatever capacity we are with the children, should have a proper communication with children. They are free and they should be comfortable coming and talking and sharing the things with the parents or teacher, whatever you are. Always appreciate the efforts what the child has made. Many times we create difference between the male child and the girl child. There is a problem, because if male child has that thought that I am superior than a female around me, that will create problem. So better it's up to us. Hello?
Mute yourself, please.
Am I audible to all?
Yes, you are, Deepa. Please continue. There is some unmute which happens.
Okay. So other thing is, most important is our effort with the children.
Madam, I would like to add something.
Yeah.
As you said, the putting up the efforts and appreciating the child.
Yeah.
I've learned from the psychology that if you start say the child is tentatively understanding around 4 to 5 years, today the generation is very smart. So if you say you are not worth, he will be really not worth. And I have seen the incidences, these children go for the suicide at the later stage. Secondly,
Yes.
if you look at, I appreciate my grandson, frankly speaking. You should always say, because we are Balani, I always tell him, you are a big B, you are a big B, you are a big B. Because if you motivate him saying that you are a big B, he is going to understand, he is going to become a big. And you are awesome, you are awesome, you are appreciate. If the story is wrong, you appreciate. If he's not dancing as per his own, the rhythm of the music, appreciate. That appreciation carries him in the journey, which helps him in the later stage again. So these are what we need to understand, the focus of the child. Thank you so much.
Definitely, I appreciate. You're absolutely right. That is what I wanted to say, that whenever our child is attempting to do something good, because all children are not good in everything. One may be good in studies, other may be good in some extracurricular activities. So please don't compare children with each other. Not at home, not with the neighbors also. Not required, because every child will be having some or the other good quality. It's not that everyone is 100% bad or 100% good. Nobody is like that. Neither you or me or nobody around us. So all children are different. We have to respect all their efforts, what they are doing. And if we want that I should be respected, we should start giving respect to our children. Many of us have one thought that bacha hai, they are children. They don't need any respect. They need more respect. You can't shout at your child in front of his or her friends. It's too bad. Whatever you have to talk. When we are in our workplace, at offices and all, if boss shouts at you in front of all your team members, you will feel bad. Same way, child will also feel bad. So if we want respect, we should start respecting child irrespective of the age. Don't think that I'm 50 years of old and my child is 8 years or 10 years, so why should I respect? He's too small. No, everybody has self-respect. Take care of that self-respect. Take care of the feeling of children. If they are coming and sharing something with you, Please listen to them. Give your ears to them. They are there. You just, they should have that confidence in you that you are there for them, for everything. Don't stop them when they are sharing. And if you have made some promise with your children for anything, you get a good marks, I'll get you this or that or whatever, please never break that promise. Try and fulfill your promise. That will create confidence and trust between you and child. If we go ahead with all these things, this will really help us to connect with the child. We have to make the child understand at a very young age, maybe in schools. We all are either parents or teachers or trainers at this point of time. Many of us, like for me, my daughter is grown up now, but still, as a trainer, when I am going and talking to teachers, and tomorrow those teachers have to further convey the things to children, we have to be careful and we have to tell them, look, please take care of children as they are your child, your children. Just connect with them and teach them right from beginning that, look, this is good, this is bad for you. Maybe whatever best language and way you feel the child will be able to pick it up. Every child will not able to understand each language and each way of presenting. Everyone has a different capacity. So please keep on interacting with children and make them aware what is good, what is bad. Nowadays in schools, this good touch, bad touch things are being taught. It's good. This so-called sex education is required in schools nowadays because children are exposed to so many things. So many times children indulge in such activities. What happened in this Delhi matter, they are very curious to know about what is happening, what is the body, how body reacts, what happens, what is the difference between girl and boy. So they try and explore the thing. They are trying to experiment the things, and with that experiments they are in problem. Now the children are being arrested because they had this Instagram post and they were admin for that. As per law, they have committed an offense. Most of these children might not be even aware of that posting something wrong on Instagram or Facebook or Twitter or any of the social media is an offense. They might not be even aware of. How they will come to know? It is we have to tell them, look, you enjoy your life, not a problem, but with certain limitation. You're not supposed to do this. This is not good for you. Not good for you as a child. You can become offended tomorrow, and it is not good for the other child against whom you are doing all this. We have to tell all these things to children, but our problem is we don't talk to children. Wherever the word sex comes, we put a big full stop over there. Please try and start interacting with children right from young age. Wherever you feel, whatever way you feel comfortable talking to children, please start interacting with them, because that is very, very important. You just have to make the children aware of what is good and bad. I'm not asking you to tell them all the laws. They are not supposed to understand at this age what the law is. Just tell them what is good and what is bad for them. And these are the stakeholders when we talk about child rights: parents, school, society, police, media, government. These all are the stakeholders when we talk about child safety, security, their rights, what they want to do, what is good, what is bad about them. Parents' home is said to be the first school of children, right? So parents are there. They have to give them a protected and safe environment. And we have one more thought in our mind that children, it's fine. They don't understand anything. So you keep on doing whatever you want at home. Children have a very super power of observation. They really observe all around what is happening, and they grow up with that observation thing, seeing around what is happening in the family. So if in the family there is a disturbance, whatever type of, between the parents or the siblings or anyone other members of the family, if it is a joint family and all, that whole environment, their behavior, everything is being noticed by children minutely, and that all have a lot of impact on children's growth. There we have to be careful. Even if you, I don't say that there will be no fight or no disagreement within the family. There are disagreements in the family. There are some small fights that is also required in the family. But fine, let it happen. But try and not to do all such, not to come ahead with these activities in front of children, because they will observe and they absorb that. And that's a human nature. No? Negative attracts us very fast. So all the negativity will go inside the children and they will grow up with that. So better try to avoid that. There should not be a discrimination between children. As I said, we should not compare our children, or there should not be a competition in between our children or with the neighbor's child, that he has got so much marks by you have not got. Then your child may be good in some sports. He may be, or she may be good in some extracurricular activities, dance, drama, music, anywhere. Let them grow wherever they want. There are enough scope in the market to grow up and establish in any of the field. Nowadays, you need not to have a proper degree as such. Not required. Give the available best education and the way out to the children to grow. Whichever is their interest, let them explore themselves from inside, which child is good in what, and give them that education which is good for that particular child. Don't force the child to go for these. Keeping degree in front of my name, MA, PhD, anything may not help me grow properly, possibly. Do whatever they want. And obviously, along with all this, if we look at all this, the child's health safety is very important, because if child is healthy, things will be better. So family or the parents, they are the first school of children.
Deepa,
Most important stakeholders. So
Deepa, am I audible to you?
After family.
Deepa, am I audible to you? Deepa,
Yeah.
I think there is some disturbance.
Yes.
Disturbance, I think, when you are using your this hands-free. So can you please recheck? Like, you can just put it again, if possible.
What, my slide?
Your mic or your hands-free, what you are using, no, your headphone. There is a little disturbance which is coming.
Computer audio.
Okay.
That may be network issue, because I'm sitting in a quiet room. There is no other disturbance around.
Yeah, it's maybe a mic, but it's okay. Now we can hear you better. Yeah.
Okay. So after family or home, the child goes to school. Now, school plays very important role. Nowadays, both the parents are working. So children, most of the time when they are fully active bodily and mind, they are at school or at the crutch, or many times the crutch is associated with the school. So child safety and security, the school plays very, very important role, and the teachers obviously around. So schools infrastructure, health and hygiene, these are part of it, which gives child a better environment and atmosphere where the child goes and feels comfortable that yes, I want to go to school. If child has that feeling of happiness when going to school, that definitely helps the growth of child. Other psychological factors which are to be taken care of by the school is try to be away from corporal punishment, the bullying and isolation, because if teacher observes something wrong in children's behavior, maybe till yesterday child was very good in discussing, in participating in school activities, he was very jolly, but suddenly child stopped behaving like that. Child is quiet, child is not participating in any activity, the marks are going down, that means there is some issue with the child. And if teacher observes that, please don't ignore that. Just try and talk to children, try and involve parents to let the parents know what is happening. Then only you can be able to solve the problem of the child, because children can be abused by emotionally, physically, or sexually, anything. So role and responsibility of teachers is very important. Monitoring, as I said, teachers have to keep monitoring how the children are behaving. So their regular behavior must be watched very carefully by each and every teacher and non-teaching staff in the school. That helps the child to grow up in a better human beings, and you will be able to guide them better. Our society plays very important role, right? Because we as a human being, we don't care much about us. We more care about society. Log kya kahenge? We are more worried about log kya kahenge. So we take many decisions even for our children, looking into what my neighbor is doing. If their child has gone for engineering, my child should also go for engineering. Not required. But the problem is our society. We are too much involved in gossiping about children also, and criticizing the children also. So at least try, I don't say after this session everybody will be changed, but I'm just giving you a food for thought. At least try and think how we behave when we are sitting in the society. I don't say stop gossiping. Fine, now because of COVID we are in lockdown, so we might be missing all that society gossip, but do that gossip. There is no problem in that. That's again, a healthy gossip is required for our own growth. But please don't involve children in that. Let children be away from such gossips. Let them grow as a good human being. So media is very important. For media, is most important thing is their TRP. How they can sell the news. They are commercial. They mostly look at the commercial aspects of the things. So media has to be very responsible. Many of us are maybe connected with media people, whether it's a social media or whether it's a print media or it's the TV and any other media. Or many of you trainers might be even giving trainings to those people, maybe on various soft skills. Just make them aware that at least when they are reporting the children cases, let them be a little sensitive. They should not do something which the way they are reporting, that will have more impact on the child than what actual incident, possibly sometimes. So media has to play very important and sensitive role in this. And media people should be aware of. Even law says if there is a wrong reporting or insensitive reporting by the media people can be punished for that, as per POCSO Act also. But stop incidents. So if no police, no lawyer, no law will come to know that something good or bad happened with someone. So we have to report, whether it's against a school, whether it's against a media, or anyone around the society, in our society. Please come out and report it, then the law will come and help us. So what we will discuss today about, apart from this, is about 3 laws. One is protection of children from sexual offenses. Cannot be implemented individually. This has certain, this has 2 other laws connecting with this particular law for implementation. The other 2 laws are Commission for Child Rights Act and Juvenile Justice Care and Protection of Children Act. So before I start talking on the little legal subject, whatever I said till now, if you have any views on that, you are welcome to share. Or if you have any questions on that, you are welcome. Please unmute yourself and ask the question or share your views.
Deepa, there is a text in the chat box. If you can open and check.
Yeah, I'm reading that.
You are reading, right? Okay. Any questions from anyone
Yeah.
can raise hand and ask her.
When the news channel first advertisement.
Madam, one thing,
Yeah.
we do understand that India's USP is, culture, values, and spirituality. Right or wrong?
I'm not able to get you. Your voice is breaking in between.
Just a minute. India has got a USP, unique selling proposition towards culture, values, and spirituality. Yes or no?
Yes.
Yes. So I don't understand why
Yes.
the school.
Yeah.
The question for me is why the schools are not going with the readability or making the children understanding Gita, Mahabharata, just like beautiful scriptures. That is one. Second, media and society in terms of criminal this thing or the other harassments. So question is, what children see, they feed inside. Yes,
Right.
but in case these values are being provided by all the schools, either a Christian school or an international school or a IB or IGAC or ICAC, whatever currently all the schools are operating. This is not the question related to the subject, but this is again mine, because a child, just giving examples, that supposing a child becomes a criminal at the later stage, and he's at the fault.
Right.
जब कोर्ट में खड़ा रहता है उसको गीता पे हाथ रखवाया जाता है, लेकिन उसको ये पता नहीं है गीता क्या बोल रही है.
Okay.
So whatever the foundation or the basics of our India, the USP is nothing but spirituality. Dr. Abdul Kalam has said to my guru, I had discussed in one of my webinars, that he had published a book called Vision 2020 with the 5 missions: nuclear power, and sustainability, and environment, and there are other 2 also. And he was sitting with my guru called Pramukh Swami Maharaj, and he was asking him, I'm publishing this book, is there any opinion of yours? My guru said, you add one thing in your 5 mission, which is called faith in God. Because then he said in one of our sessions to our devotees, a person who is spiritual can serve the society. And the person who can serve the society has to be a spiritual.
Okay.
So I'm coming to the fundamentals. We do understand. I appreciate your delivery and the structured format. But the question starts with the foundation. It's the बच्चे को अगर 8 साल का होता है, I don't think any Indian culture will be giving a Gita or Mahabharata to our children. That is one. But if you look at your community, Muslim community, they definitely give some sort of Quran's learning, and he is going to madrasa.
Okay, let me answer. First of all, I'm not here on any regional discussion. So I'm not going to answer anything in Muslim community what happens or Hindu community what happens. I'm not on that. So far as you said that the foundation should be with the spiritual thought, I agree. But why you only want to put this on the school? Why you are not doing it at home? Even you look at, you said Mahabharata or Ramayana, there also the Sita has to go to jungle to show her purity, that after living with Ravan, she is still pure. In Mahabharata, there was a Draupadi Chirhana. All those things were there. Ill will people, or with that negative thought people, the so-called villains were there in those stories also. But then why we only want, and why we want only schools to take this responsibility? Why not you? You are parent. Till child reaches to school, it starts from you. You start from home, na? For you, it has to be started. Not always it should be done by the schools. I agree. There can be there has to be something which is there in India's culture that may be explained and should be explained, absolutely fine, but that is not the only way, and in today's circumstances, that is not the only way to teach the children. We have otherwise to be close to children. Interaction with the children and the trust building with the children is more important. How you build that trust, it's up to you, because everyone has a different way of connecting with children. Whatever best way you can do, you should do. My main concern is we are trying to compensate our time with money, which should not be there, because money can never compensate the time which we can spend with our children. That will give them the more effective foundation than only reading into the book. If even if I teach a child a Ramayana or Mahabharata, possibly they can pick up the negative parts of that and not the positive things. There can be a situation. So we really don't know how the children picks up. So even when talking about Ramayana or Mahabharata or any other spiritual thing with the children, we have to tell them that this is good, this is bad out of this. So that interaction, that communication with the children is more important, irrespective of religion, irrespective of caste or anything.
Thank you so much.
So far as the society is concerned, the good and bad, all type of people are in this society only. Even the courts, judges, lawyers, everybody is coming from the same society. So we all belong in the same society. Children also grow up in the same society. They also look around and see, as I said, they have very good observation power. So they pick up the things. And it's a human nature. Everyone picks up negative things fast. If somebody tells you not to do this, we tend to do that. Nowadays, government is asking for last 2 months not to go out of home, not to go out of the home, but still we tend to. We make some or the other excuse with the policeman. No, I want to go out. Why? Because that's a human nature. So only thing is we have to give the correct direction to children. So that direction can only be given to children when we talk to them, when we have that trust with the children, then only we will be able to do that. And then only these laws will come and help us.
Thank you so much. Thank you so much.
You're welcome. So now let's start talking of these children, these 3 laws, what I am talking about. The Protection of Children from Sexual Offences Act. This act came in picture in 2012. Before that, there was no such law specific for children's sexual offences. And in many of the areas in the country, even touching the private parts of the children when they are small and all those things are routine. They were routine. And as of now also, many of the places people don't even know that touching a child in a different manner is an offense now. People are not aware of. So we need awareness. Now, many of us, you can recall me about 15, 20 years back, we might be seeing people smoking everywhere on the road, in the movie hall or in the station, train, everywhere. People were smoking because at that time, smoking in the public was not an offense. People were used to the person who is smoking and the other person not smoking also, we all were used to about it. Can you see anyone now smoking in a movie hall or in a mall or in somewhere except smoking zones? No. Now people are aware. Now that doesn't mean the people who were smoking till yesterday they have stopped smoking. They quit smoking. No, they have not quit. They started controlling themselves because now they are aware of that smoking in a public place is an offense. Same way, years back, the children were facing the sexual offenses, and the people are still not aware that now touching a child or the private parts of the child is an offense. It is still happening in the remote areas of the country where people are not really aware of. Possibly they are aware of that this is a heinous crime, they may not do it. Possible. So first important thing is we have to create awareness. That is why this law has now came in picture, and this law also gives a specific reason, a specific provision over there for creating awareness on the subject. So when we talk about sexual abuse, this law is restricted to sexual abuse. Now there can be different type of abuse against children. We are talking of sexual abuse only. Sexual abuse can be of 2 types, physical and non-physical, right? Now, physical sexual abuse can be of any type. Clear sexual offense, or making a child to open the private parts, or fondling or kissing a child with sexual intent, or touching any body part of the child, anything of that. Where a person is touching the body of a child or forcing a child to touch the body of that person with the sexual thought, that is a sexual abuse. Sexual abuse with physical contact. Now, sexual abuse can be non-physical also. Using a child for pornography, or child has been forced to look at the pornography or some nude pictures or some gestures, or playing some like video games and all those with the sexuality around it. Some verbal, some comments, some remarks that can be non-physical without contact, but is a sexual abuse with the child. Now, all those things, many of the times people are not aware. Most of the time, such crimes happens because of negligence, because of not really negligence, because people are not aware of the things, that this should not be done and this is wrong as per law. As per law, I'm not explaining it in detail because that will be too heavy in the terminology and all. So I'm just telling you, these are the few offenses given in this law, and the punishment even go up to death. So if person is involved in sexual offenses with children, the person can be hanged also as per law. So we have law very stringent, very stringent, but our problem is reporting. As I said, nobody will have a dream, no court, no police, no lawyer, nobody, no authority will have a dream that something wrong has happened somewhere till we come out and report. But we don't do that. Our problem is that. Now, let me give you one simple example. We all go for shopping. Yes, we go for, and we purchase lot many things, maybe dress, maybe mobile phone, maybe TV, fridge, washing machine, everything. And by chance, any of such things, there is some defect. What we do? We take it up with the authorities. We reach up to that dealer. How dare this? You have given me a defective piece. This is my hard-earned money. I drag you to the court. How dare you have done like this? And on top of my voice, in the big mall and so-called posh locality, I will shout on top of my voice. Make sure that all the people in that particular shop will hear that this person has given you a defective piece of that TV. We are so much concerned about that, because that TV costing me 30, 40, 50,000 rupees. And I said, that is my hard-earned money. We are so much affected with this materialistic things. But if something happening with your children, their body, their thought process, why you are quiet? Why I'm not talking? This whole life of your child is there, but we don't talk. Oh, because society will what society will say. क्या होगा, मेरी इंसल्ट हो जाएगी. Now we are more worried about लोग क्या कहेंगे. That is the biggest problem we have. Please just think about, if we are so much worried and concerned about materialistic things, but we are not looking at what is happening to my child. So if we are there to report, if we are there to cooperate, there are special court, there is a special police, special doctors, special shelter home for children, where the children are there with the offenses, or either offense have been committed on the child, or the child has committed the offense. And there are so much strict punishments given in the law. But law will only come in picture when there is a reporting of an offense. Most of the time, the offense happens and nobody reports. So no court, no police will be able to help you out. So please come out and report. And so far as this particular law is concerned, which says the protection of children from sexual offenses, each one of us, as a parent, as a person, as a citizen of the country, has a right, has a duty to inform it to the authorities if you come across any sexual offense happening to any of the child around you. May not be your child, even on the road. This law says that if I've given it public obligation to report, any one of us, if you see any child being sexually abused, even on road, you don't have any connection with that child, it's your duty as a citizen of the country to report it. If you don't report it and it is come to the notice of the authorities that you knew and you didn't report it, you can be put under jail for 6 months only for non-reporting of crime. But we don't report. I said, let it happen. It's happening to my neighbor, not to me. Now, why should I break my head? That's the problem. Why should I get involved? And my neighbor will also not like, why you are coming inside my home? Why you are interfering? That is the problem. But the thing is, as per law, as a citizen of this country, you are under obligation to report it. But we don't do that. And then we say there is no law and order in the country. What law and order, what law will do in that if we are not cooperative? So we all have to cooperate, then only we can help our children to come out and grow. Right? Okay. So next important thing is, so far as this sexual offense is concerned against children, there is no time limit. Even offense has been committed on me when I was child, 30, 40, 50 years back. I can still report today even for that offense. It will be difficult to prove because there may not be any evidence, especially medical evidence may not be there, but reporting is allowed. Even today, you can go and report if something happened with you about 20, 30 years back. So there is no limitation for reporting of offenses under this particular law. This is very rare because 99% all the laws in the country for anything to be reported, even you have to borrow and take the money or from someone, there is a time limit for each type of case to report. So far as the sexual offenses against children are concerned, there is no time limit. Report can be filed any time. This act specifically provides that the awareness should be created in the society. As I said, most of the offenses happens because people don't know that what they are doing is wrong. So they continue to do that. Laws, we have to give wide publicity to the provisions of this law. That is why when Dr. Swati asked me for this awareness session, I was very happy. At least I can share few things with all of you. At least the basic connectivity with the children or the awareness, or at least you should know your obligation as a citizen in the country. So which many of you might not be aware of. So this is one of the way of spreading the awareness, which law also says wherever you are, spread awareness about the subject. So if awareness is there, that may minimize the occurrence of such incidents. Let this awareness be created through print media, radio, television, whatever is there. All officials who are connected in the different authorities, government authorities, state government, or all the concerned where the children are there, crutches, orphanage, schools, all are bound to provide training to their staff. There are CBSE guidelines, mandatory guidelines. Each and every staff, non-teaching staff, teaching staff of schools must undergo the awareness training about the subject. Many of the schools, they are not doing it. It is a mandatory. Even the CBSE can cancel their affiliation with CBSE, ICSE. But nobody cares. Nobody reports if it is not happening. How many of us as a parent have reported it to CBSE? Then in our school, my children have never been taught about the subject and teachers are not even aware of. We don't go and talk. So what? Then if there is no awareness, people continue to do the offenses. So most important thing is even law says create awareness so that we can reduce such incidents in the society. I don't say with the awareness there will be zero incident. That's not possible. We all are human beings and all such things are somewhere connected with few of our mindset, emotions, not many things. So offenses will happen in society. You cannot stop offenses, but at least we can try and minimize.
Deepa, Mr. Sharma has asked some valid question. Actually, this is actually, a problem in the society. If you can read the chat, he's saying that what can be done if we see a child harmed by an extended family and family denies for that.
What can be done if it is a child being harmed by the extended family, but the family denies? What can we do? Mr. Atul Sharma, right? Atul, your duty as a citizen is to report it to the authorities. You can report it to the National Commission for Protection of Child Rights. You can report it to the police straight away. Nobody is going to question you why you reported, because this reporting is by you as in a good faith. You thought that something wrong is happening, so you reported it. Agreed. But if the family denies, let the authorities take care of that. Your duty comes to an end when you report it. There are families, that's what I said, we are more worried about log kya kahenge or meri izzat society mein, what will happen to me. We are more worried about that. That's why we are not reporting. But suppose there is such report goes by you and the family denies it. And at that point of time, police or the authority may close the case before the family, because the family is not cooperating. But then they will keep a secret watch on that family. So they will take care of that. There are provisions for that the police and such authorities can keep watch on such families who are denying apparently on such issues. So you don't think what will happen tomorrow. You do your duty of reporting. It is for the authorities, they will take care of that. Agreed. Girl will get married once she's older. These all are, I agree. In 2020, we are still thinking that for a girl child, ultimate object is a marriage in the life. Then nobody can help. We have to change our thought process. We have to change. I don't say no, don't marry. Marriage is again an important aspect of a life, but that's not the ultimate object of the life, for even for a girl. So we have to change our mindset also. Without that, we can't. That's what I said. Making law is not a solution for any problem. In India, we have more than 5,000 laws on each subject and very stringent laws. But problem is our mindset. We don't allow those laws to implement. There we are under problem. Any other question?
Hi, madam. This is Ram.
Yeah.
I brought the same incidents yesterday also when we were speaking about ethics. There was a session on ethics yesterday. Now, the same real life incidents which had happened to me 2 months ago, if the group, I think everybody had heard about this. So madam is a lawyer, so I am repeating the same incidents.
Mm-hmm.
So around 2 months ago, I am from a skill development center of a big giant of our country.
Mm-hmm.
It's a CSR core of a big organization. And I am a banking trainer in that skill development center. So one of my co-trainer had misbehaved with a girl. The girl is around, she has just passed. So she should be around 18 or 19.
Okay.
And so this girl was continuously forced by that trainer, my co-trainer, for some illegal activity or a sexual activity which she did not agree at all.
Okay.
And that girl has come from a remote village, fighting with her father.
Okay.
And the father did not allow her to join this course. However, she convinced her father and she has come. And at this moment, this person had been forcing her. So this girl has called me up and she told me that this is what is happening.
Okay.
So I have a call recording option in my phone. So what I did is I have shared the recording to a posh representative of my office.
Okay.
And so my management, what they have done is they have in turn turned against me, saying that recording a call is crime in India. And how can you record this call? So we are reporting you to the ethics committee. Okay. You went against the code and conduct of this organization by recording a call and sharing it in the office.
Okay.
So in turn, everything turned against me. This is what is happening in our country.
Yes.
what I did is I was reported to the ethics committee. Then I felt I am not in a correct place, but I left it, and I have guided that girl properly to go back to the home and to her father's guidance. Now the problem is if the father is informed about this, the motto of the father is to get this girl married. That's it, nothing else.
Obviously, yeah.
So this girl was requesting me not to tell the father that this is what has happened. So I was not able to tell the father also. So, but however, the CEO and the managers of my organization have turned against me. This is
possibly it can happen. Now, Manam, have you finished your question? May I answer now?
Yeah, one question is, madam, is it illegal to record a call in India? That is what my question is also.
Okay. No, right now we don't have a strict law on that as of, but there are companies, they have their code of conduct. So in your company, if in their code of conduct, it is there that you will not record any call, then obviously they will take action as per the service rules. Because right now we don't have the data protection, personal data protection law in force as of now. It is under consideration with the government. But most of the companies, they have their internal code of conduct, which says that you should not record the calls and all. But so far as this particular incident, what you are talking is, you don't even need that call to prove the incident. If the girl goes and says that this is happening with me, and even the authorities can take action on the girl's statement alone, and they can look into the circumstantial evidence, need not to be a direct evidence, action can be taken. And if she is above 18 years, POSH law will apply, POCSO will not apply. And in such circumstances, wherever you are in difficulty, try and put the online complaints for POCSO and for POSH both. Try and put online complaints that will straight away go to the Ministry of Women and Child Development. So your organization or no other down below people can interfere in that. That is a better option where the action can be taken by the authorities without interference of internal politics of office.
Right, madam. It's a very valuable and new information I got. I did not know this. Actually, I've tried checking a lot of information in YouTube and over Google. I did not get. This is the correct information which you have given. Thank you so much.
Better put it on website of Women and Child Development. There is a provision for online complaint for POSH cases. That is prevention of sexual harassment of women at workplace, and for POCSO cases also. So if you go and put it to the online, that will be more effective.
Fine, man. Fine. Sure, man. Thank you so much for this information.
You're welcome. Yeah.
In the same case, if this case is being raised to any of the online thing which you have told, her father will be informed about the same thing.
Definitely will be informed. Yes.
And she doesn't want to get dropped from the education, and the whole drama changes. So in spite of benefit, it is going to be.
You take any of the case. As I said, you go and file a consumer case. Again, that the dealer of that shop will come on this warranty card, and there in the small words it is written that if you will transfer a product from A place to B place, the dealer will not be responsible of any fault in that, right? So look, every law has both the sides, and no law allows in India to punish a person without being heard, like Nirbhaya case, or even that Ajmal Kasab case, where we have heard the person whom we know that the person has committed a crime. Still, law says the person against whom action has to be taken must be given full opportunity to defend himself. So the other person will also come up with few points to defend himself, and for defending himself or herself, that person will come up few plus and minus, few false things also. So that drama will definitely happen. I don't say that all laws are very clean in that way, that once you said that something happened with me and the other person will be punished. No, there is a process given. But our problem is we don't even allow that process to start. Things will happen. You have to be ready. It's not that it's very easy fight. But if we just ignore this. We are not reporting because tomorrow there will be a big fight in the court and people will be aware of and the neighbors will know about it. That's why I am not reporting, and then I'm crying, I am harassed and there is no law and order in the country. Now that's not right. My issue is that we are also responsible to an extent. We are not reporting or we are not going ahead and ready to fight for our rights, but we are ready to criticize that there is no law and order in the country. You cannot have both the things in your hands, right? So at least be ready for that also. You can be either side of the law, this or that, but law is there for everyone, not for one person.
So end of it in this particular case where Mr. Ram has raised that girl is helpless. She can't take help from her father, neither from such person like Ram. She can't take help from him, nor from the institute. She is just left helpless.
Yeah.
There are several NGOs helping her. There are several NGOs who are working for such women. Let her go and approach the NGOs available. What is the problem?
All alone. All alone.
Alone, the NGO will come to help. She may be having some friends, must be. Nobody is alone. Everyone has some or the one good person along with whom the person shares everything. You may be having some good friend, may not be a family member. Someone must be there. Someone must be there with everyone.
Yeah, man,
Yes,
that's
ma'am.
correct.
Done.
That's correct.
Thank
But
you.
however, this girl is from a remote village wherein yeah, stepping out and all also.
Let you can put her through with some NGO who is working on the subject and all. You can
Yeah,
help
that
her out. You are
yes,
there to help her. Help her
yeah,
out to reach up to some NGO, then they will take care of that.
definitely, definitely.
That can be happen. That can happen.
Yes, ma'am. Yes, thank you.
Should we proceed?
Yes, ma'am. Yes, done.
Okay. So next is Juvenile Justice Care and Protection of Children Act 2015. Now I'm not going in detail of this law. I'm just telling you this law is basically formed to take care of, as the law's name says, care and protection of children, especially for the children who have committed the offense. Children found to be in conflict with law. Conflict with law means they are offender, they have committed an offense, or the children who need care and protection. Now, any type of children, not necessarily who have suffered sexual offenses. Suppose there is a natural calamities, war, floods, earthquake, anything like that, and children are on the road, their whole family has gone, they don't have any place to stay and all those things. All type of children to be taken care of by this Juvenile Justice Act. In this act, there are two authorities, Juvenile Justice Board and Child Welfare Committee. You just have to approach each district of the country is having these two authorities. So in whichever district in the country you are, each district is having Juvenile Justice Board and Child Welfare Committee. So if you found some child on the road because of some earthquake or floods, a child is no one around, orphan child, possibly these children either tomorrow may suffer some sexual offenses or tomorrow they may become offender because they are not getting correct atmosphere to grow up. So better let these children should be handed over to these authorities. They will take care of this. Legally, they are bound to do it. These are the government authorities, and you, if you are aware of the subject, both these authorities, board and the committee, are having social workers as a member of this committee and the board. So if you are aware of the subject and you are otherwise working socially towards children activities, anything, you can be even part of this board or welfare committee. You can even give them the training on the subject that how to handle the children when the children reaches to them. So you can do many things for that in connecting along with these authorities for the welfare of children. Another important law is Commission for Child Right Act 2005. Now in India, whatever is happening against any of the child, this is the authority to take care. National Commission for Protection of Child Right, NCPCR. National Commission is based out of Delhi, and every state is having state commission also. Right? So this National Commission for all over India and the state commission in a particular state have all the right to check that all child rights have been protected properly. Now, it's not only against sexual offenses, any type of offenses against children, any type of cruelty or harassment to child, not only sexual, everything. This commission has all the right to check it. And this commission can go anywhere, any school, any orphanage, any shelter home to go and inspect them that children are being kept properly. This National Commission for Protection of Child Rights has this first page of their website. This is online complaint page about child sexual abuse. You can have a look at this page. There is an email, poxo-ebox-ncpcr@gov.in. This is the email where online complaint can be filed. Or the next below is e-box, POXO e-box. Press this button. This is the first page where online complaint of child sexual abuse can be filed. It clearly says when you get any unsafe touch, you may feel bad, confused, and helpless. You need not feel bad because it is not your fault. Other person is doing it. File this online complaint. Tell us how you are being harassed. You are harassed at playground, shop, tuition. You are being blackmailed. This is the third page of this. In a school bus, by a family member, or by on phone or internet. You have to put the name and details, email ID, and the details of the incident. Or toll-free number is there. 1098 number is childline number, child helpline number. You can call 1098 if you have felt or seen something wrong happening with any of the child, or can file online complaint on this website. Government, this National Commission will take care of this, and the government is very serious, at least on this subject. I don't know about others, and I'm not on that. On this subject, government is very serious. As soon as any complaint goes on either toll-free number or on this email or on child helpline, government takes very fast action. So don't worry, just you can put all these things, and your name can be kept confidential, even when you are reporting of some unknown child whom you don't have any connection. Your name can be kept confidential on your request by the government. Please report it.
But the child can do it by the, like, you know, they have to depend on parent, or they can do it directly.
If they are too small, parents have to report. Obviously, they don't know. Otherwise, child can report it. No problem.
These trainings are not provided in like schools and all, because is there any provision that we are providing it in the schools? Because if the awareness
yes, I'm
is not
coming
there,
to that. Coming to that.
Okay.
Yes, coming to that. I'm just coming to that. This complaint can be filed either by the parent or by the teacher or by the child himself or herself. But suppose if child is not able to access the internet or phone, or child is not aware of, then anyone who knows about the abuse to the child can report it. Or at least to schools, in the children, we should give children this 1098, a small four-digit number, that whenever there is some issue, 1098, please dial it wherever the child is. We should teach that to the children in schools. It's a small four-digit number. Children can remember this well. 1098 is a simple number. Every child should remember that whichever position children are, they can phone on this number. Immediately, police and authorities will take action. They will come and take care of the things.
Deepaji, I think even a citizen who is unknown to the child can also file the case, no?
Yes, there is no need that you should know the child. Anyone can. Anyone has rather duty to report it, whoever has seen some wrong happening with the child. Anyone can report.
Okay.
Need not to be connected with children at all. This National Commission has taken out one manual on safety and security of children in school. And following this manual is mandatory for all schools. Missionary school, English medium, Hindi medium, government school, private school, whichever school is. All schools have mandatorily to follow this manual. This manual is available on this website. This is the link of this. If you go to the website of National Commission of Child Rights, you will get this manual over there. This manual is about 85 pages. So I'm not going to discuss all 85 pages here. I'll just give you a few tips out of that. This manual gives some directions to the school to take care of for measures for protection of children from sexual abuse. How the employees have to be selected in the school. So at the time of recruitment, whether teaching or non-teaching staff, what important things have to be taken care of by the schools, and how, and there has to be a policy in the school to teach the staff, teaching, non-teaching staff. This includes all staff, their bus conductor, their bus driver, their sweepers, their cafeteria people need not to be educated one, because many of such offenses happens, like child is coming in the bus and school, that bus driver and bus conductor and all those. Everyone must be given awareness and sensitization training about this. You need not to explain the laws all in detail and to all these people, but at least the training has to be given to these people that look, if you do something wrong with the children, this is an offense as per law in India and you can be punished. We have to make them aware, and if required, make them scared of the things. Let them be afraid of, no problem. But whatever way we can tell them that should not do it. Be careful what you are doing. Now, most of the time, what schools do, they outsource this bus service and all that. Then you will say, no, it is a responsibility of contractor, because that contractor is providing the bus plus conductor and the driver. No, it is a responsibility of this school who is hiring that conductor for providing the school bus. It is a responsibility of a school to teach and make aware the school bus driver and conductor about a particular subject, and make them aware that they should behave decently with the children while ferrying them in the bus. It is a responsibility of a school. And in every school, there has to be a CCTV properly kept, except washrooms in all the areas. There should not be any dark areas in the school. Even the building structure has been mentioned how to be made in this manual. Schools have to follow it. School teachers and non-teaching staff have to monitor the child's behavior and performance regularly. If you feel something wrong in his behavior, please take note of it and try and find out the reason. Talk to the child. Keep the children busy in the school in some positive environment. Don't give them the free time to do anything. Free time is keep them engaged in some extracurricular activities. All the time studies also will not help. You have to keep them engaged in some activities, maybe drawing, painting, dancing, music, sports, whatever is good for a children. It's up to the school and the taste of a particular child, obviously, but school have to take care of that. These, what I'm talking to you, is a mandatory actions by the school. They have to do it. And if schools are not doing it, their CBSE affiliation or ICSE affiliation can be cancelled. And one more important thing is, in every school, there has to be a parent-teachers association. You might be going in a parent-teachers meeting. In that parent-teachers association, such training of sensitization about the law is must. And there, you as a parent or maybe as a trainer have to raise your voice that please let the children be taught about. At least in every school is bound to have one drop box near the principal's office. Suppose child is not able to talk what has happened, let the child put it in writing and drop it in the drop box. Teachers have to take care of that. They have to take action on this. Please, it is our duty to come out and first report, then only law will come and help us. So these are the few things which I just shared with you. I hope this may give you some, ignite your thought process on the subject somewhere. So what we want is that according to us, our children are having so many wonders in their eyes. They are having more than 7 million wonders, don't only 7 wonders. Let them explore all those wonders. We should not push them towards offenses or sexual offenses or any type of offenses. We all are responsible for their upbringing and to bring them up to the society in a best of their level. So I hope I'll be able to convey what I wanted to. Still, if you are intend to have any other issues or discussion or anything from me, you are welcome to contact me. Or for further TTT on the subject, you are always welcome. That we keep on doing. Be there on my website. You will be able to come to know. Now, open for any discussion, please.
Any questions? If anyone is having, please ask her. We can just give some 5 minutes for the questions.
You said can student's child can also do it directly or parent is required? Anyone can file a complaint.
Yeah, you answered that, Deepa.
Yeah.
I only asked that.
Right. Yeah, correct. That's what. So
Ramya,
anyone can file
Ramya
the
raised her hand. Yes, Ramya.
Yeah.
Ma'am, apart from the sexual abuse, what are other different kinds of abuses which we have to take care?
There are abuses, emotional abuse, like ill treatment to the child. May not be sexual, but you're not treating a child properly in a school, like bullying or discrimination against the child. These all are abuses for the child. Neglecting behavior, neglecting a child. Suppose child is asking something, you are not, people are not taking care of that at all. That is also abuse, but that will not be covered in this POXO law. That there are different laws. There are, this National Commission will take care of everything, but POXO law is only for sexual offenses.
Okay, ma'am. Done. Thank you.
Yeah. Anyone else?
Ma'am, I'm Swati here.
Yeah.
I would like to know whether spying a person is also a law, an offense.
Spying a person,
Yeah.
how means in
In the
bathroom?
sense, no, it is not not in that sense.
Okay.
My son always keeps spying my daughter. He always checks like what she is doing, where is she, and he keeps on updating me or like continuously. So that is like it crossed its limits. So I
No,
just want to know, like, is it a kind of harassment?
it is not specifically mentioned in law as a harassment, because if brother is checking up to sister, maybe for taking care of sister, possibly.
Yes.
Right. So just have to tell them that look, if you have your privacy, let her also have some privacy. As a brother, you want to check it that your sister is safe. Absolutely right. No, nothing bad about it. But like peeping it and like checking it like this is not good, because if someone start doing that for you, how you will feel? Right? So that you just have to tell him in a very polite and decent manner, not as in offending him. But obviously you can interact with your sister. You can ask her where she is going, what all her friends are. No problem.
Okay.
Full-time checking, that will create a difference between the children.
Yes,
So that will be that is not a healthy atmosphere then at a home.
yes, ma'am.
So there you have to play a more important role.
Yes, ma'am. Okay, thank you, ma'am.
Welcome.
Any other questions?
Autonomy is a fundamental right? No.
So autonomy here means the independence of a person is a right. Like, every human being needs independence of autonomy until and unless they will not survive. So it's not related to some kind of a law I'm talking about. In general, autonomy is required to each and every human.
That way it is there, definitely.
Yeah. Okay, I feel that there is no other question, and it was really, really very informative session, Deepa. There are so many things we are actually aware of, but then there are many minor things which we miss upon sometimes, or maybe we don't realize it that we should go ahead, or we sometimes just don't have courage to go ahead and stand beside the person who is a sufferer, especially when we are talking about a child today. And we just say, okay, like let the family take care of that. So I think this is really informative that there are various other ways also we can help, you know, and
Right.
there are various the societies which are there where we can, you know, NGOs which are there where we can at least complain and raise the issue, which is very, very important for all of us to know. So lovely session, Deepa, and I believe it is going to help everyone who attended till end. There are few who has to left because of some commitment in between. But then I'm going to share the recording with every one of them so that they can, you know, learn whatever you have shared with us. So thank you
Definitely.
so much for being here and give us such a 90, you know, educative minutes to all of us. And happy Mother's Day to you as well.
Thank you very much, Swati. Happy to share my experience with all of you. I hope it will help all of us. So happy Mother's Day once again to all of you, and thank you very much with interacting all of you. Thanks a lot.
Thank you everyone for joining and participating and asking some relevant questions. So this is Dr. Swati here from Trainers Club signing off. Thank you and have a nice evening. And if anyone is ready to connect in the evening for the Mother's Day celebration, please do connect. Bye-bye.
Bye. Thank you.
Thank you. Thank you so much.